Good morning. Welcome to yet another session of Daily Current Affairs with Sathya sir. This is me Sathya from IQ Ideas, bringing you today's edition of important current affairs, news and updates from a leading daily newspaper. Interesting articles which can be read from the newspaper and of course specific words of vocabulary which will help you improve your English. Today is the 22nd of July 2025 and without further ado, let's jump into today's news. As I open the newspaper, a couple of big headlines. One is, of course, related to the 11/7 Mumbai train blasts, in which all the 12 accused have been acquitted in the 11/7 Mumbai train blasts case. So this is a serious news where severely indicting the prosecution for the case it had made out. The Bombay High Court on Monday quashed the conviction of all 12 accused found guilty a decade ago for the July 11, 2006 synchronized train blasts that killed 187 and injured 824 in a matter of 6 minutes. Seriously, this seems to be a very, very serious issue. And I quote, they said the prosecution utterly failed to establish the offense beyond reasonable doubt against the accused on each count. It is unsafe to reach the satisfaction that the accused committed the offenses for which they were convicted and sentenced. This is what the bench held. So acquitted is of course pronounced not guilty. And the chief minister of the state has said that the verdict is shocking and they will be of course taking this to the Supreme Court. And there are various reactions which have come in from different parts where the people who are directly affected by this particular incident have expressed their dismay. If we go to the thing in middle of the news, the middle of the article, the timeline is given where on July 11, 2006, there were 7 blasts in the first class compartment of 7 suburban trains in 6 minutes. On September 2015, 12 were convicted, among which 5 were awarded death, 7 life terms, and 1 was acquitted. And now in July 2025, all the 12 have been acquitted by the High Court. Accused number 1, Kamal Ansari, died in prison in 2021 during the pandemic. The High Court Justices Anil Kilor and Shyam Chandak said, and I quote, creating a false appearance of having solved a case by presenting that the accused have been brought to justice gives a misleading sense of resolution. This deceptive closure undermines public trust and falsely reassures society, while in reality the true threat remains at large. So this is obviously something of great concern to all parties concerned, and definitely it will serve as a stern warning to the investigative agencies, and a lot remains to be seen on whether this matter goes to the Supreme Court, and if and when it does, what will be the outcome. Yet another big news is that Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, I beg your pardon. So Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar submits his resignation, and I believe the reasons cited were health issues. Shri Jagdeep Dhankar has been the third serving vice president who has resigned from his post. So in his resignation letter to the President Draupadi Murmu, Dhankar said he was stepping down with immediate effect to prioritize health care and to abide by medical advice. So very, very important piece of news, and the constitutional procedure is of course when the vice president is wishing to step down from his or her post, the resignation has to be handed it to the first citizen, that is the president of the country, which in this case is Srimati Draupadi Murmu, right? The small snippets in middle of the article says this is a controversial tenure which has been cut short. He was earlier the governor of West Bengal. He has served as the governor of West Bengal and was elected as the vice president in August of 2022. As the Rajya Sabha chair, so the vice president of the country is the de facto chair of the Rajya Sabha. So as the Rajya Sabha chair, Dhankar was frequently criticized by opposition parties who accused him of favoring treasury benches. and he became the first Rajya Sabha chair against whom the opposition moved a no confidence motion in December of 2024. So two big news on this page. Below that, we have a couple of small snippets. One is, of course, the ongoing parliamentary sessions where the Prime Minister said we should celebrate the Operation Sindoor success, which was India's retaliation in response to the Pahalgam attacks, while the opposition seeks prompt debate. And a very small article, but an important one, is both Ahmedabad and Goa are in race to host the Chess World Cup 2025. So the World Chess Federation, the World Chess Federation makes India the official host for the World Cup Open in 2025, and now it remains to be seen which of the two cities, whether it would be Ahmedabad or it would be the state of Goa, which gets the honor of hosting the World Chess Championships. Obviously, the chess has been a lot in the news recently. What with having 2 victories over Magnus Carlsen and 4 Indian females in the final 8 of the ongoing championship. Okay, so with that, we move ahead to the next page. The next page is the city page with a lot of news related to just crime, which I'm going to ignore. The next city page is majorly devoted to mangoes. Eternal harvest time is always ripe for mangoes. Mangoes are the flavor of all seasons in Gujarat. While ancient royal varieties grow alongside exotic imports, winter harvests break all rules and farmers even sell directly to customers through online platforms. So this is, it mentions as if it is the National Mango Day. Okay. Okay, so people who are in love with this great fruit, the king of fruits, so to say, would be reading that with great interest. You can obviously create a reading comprehension passage or a static GK passage based on that particular article. The next city page also does not seem to have any major news. The next page for the state again does not seem to have any major updates, and neither does the nation page, which quickly brings us to the middle page. Editorials, columns, opinion articles, and so on. Now, keeping in line with the verdict of the Bombay High Court regarding the acquittal of the 12 accused in the 11/7 Mumbai trains blast case, we have an opinion by D. Stalin, who's a columnist based in Mumbai and director of environmental NGO One Shakti, which says 6 minutes that changed Mumbai, 19 years that changed nothing. And the byline reads, so no one's guilty of 2006 serial train bomb blasts which changed commuters' safety perceptions forever. But what commuting choice is there, even if overcrowding is scary? Now, obviously, the train system is the lifeline of Mumbai, and Mumbai is infamous for having overcrowded trains. But even a slight problem with this system leaves thousands and probably lakhs of commuters in jeopardy. And a thing like multiple bomb blasts on the trains is obviously going to throw a spanner in the works, and the mentality of the people obviously is going to be shaken a lot. So this article would be a stern view on that. Below that, we have Devdutt Patnaik's column on what the left gets wrong about Islamism. Activists who slam Islamophobia are silent on homophobia in some Islamic groups, but human rights are not a one-way street. So, promises to be a controversial article, but you might read it with a little bit of interest. Although a very controversial piece like this, I would not expect to be used as a reading comprehension passage sometime soon. And of course, you have to be very, very mindful of the fact that any opinions expressed by the author are his own, and you need to be very careful in parroting them. Okay, we move on to the left 3 columns. The first one, terror of omissions. The acquittal of Mumbai train blast accused is a devastating indictment of police and prosecution. So again, related to the main news of today. Below that, melting pot bubbling. New polls show majority of Americans are now against harsh action on immigration. That's good news. And below that, we have a column by Anil Abraham, The Bitter Half, Homely Ramifications of an Expose at a Coldplay Concert. So this is the scandal involving the Astronomer CEO and the head of HR who were caught canoodling at the Coldplay concert on the Kiss Cam. So interesting read, but nothing of importance. The next nation page, a few important things. One, there is some online betting app case. So Meta and Google are to appear before the Enforcement Directorate on July 28th. Both Meta and Google are being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate for hosting advertisements on platforms for illegal betting sites and have been given a fresh date of July 28th to appear before the probe agency after they sought adjournments of the summons issued for Monday. Okay. And I think related to that, the Enforcement Directorate has summoned 4 top South actors in the online betting case, including Vijay Deverakonda, Rana Dakkupati, Prakash Raj, and Manchu Lakshmi. Okay. There is an update on the ongoing issue in the parliament where the PM says celebrates Sindhu's success, opposition demands prompt discussion. The headline is repeated, so you can just read it to check whether they have actually some addition to the news or is it just an extension of the same. Okay. The Supreme Court has apparently said that there's something wrong on campus, says Supreme Court, puts a lens on suicides. We would like to know how promptly FIRs were registered and by whom. So this is when the Supreme Court took cognizance of the death of 2 students at the IIT Kharagpur Institute and the Sharda University and has sought reports from the management of the institutions. So very important updates and news as far as student suicide rates are concerned, which has always been a matter of great concern for institutions. Okay. The special page seems to have something interesting on top, which says, can you choose how you die? Some Indians already have. There is a slow but sure rise in the number of people deciding to draft a living will, a document that tells their families and doctors when it is time to let them go. Okay, direct euthanasia or active euthanasia is obviously not legal in India, and this has been a hot topic of discussion and debates in the corridors of various law schools because there are very few countries in the world which actually do give legal permission for mercy killing or euthanasia, right? So this would be a very interesting article to be read for sure by the law aspirants, especially when they are faced with debates along these lines in various places. Okay. Below that, we have fight your political battles elsewhere, not in courts, says the Supreme Court. Okay. Interesting reads. We move on to the business page where Titan is set to buy 67% in Dubai's Damas jeweler for 1.6 thousand crore rupees. Eternal's Blinkit surpasses Zomato in net order value. Crypto firm CoinDCX offers an $11 million bounty to recover $44 million. Okay. Tariff effect, India's share up in US imports. It gains in electronics and textiles. Taiwan, European Union and Switzerland benefit at China's expenses. Tariff deadline August 1, US team to visit India in second half of month. So a lot of interesting news articles which can be perused at leisure by people interested in business management, economics and finance. We go to the global page. A sad news where an Air Force jet has crashed into a school campus in Bangladesh and 20 are dead, mostly students. Okay. The other news is the Trump administration takes first step towards linking H-1B. I think this would be the H-1B visa, right, to wages. Let's just read the first para. It says, the Trump administration is working on a new rule to create a weighted selection process for H-1B cap visas. Weights are likely to be assigned based on the salary offered to the foreign beneficiary, that is the individual who is being sponsored for the H-1B visa by an American employer. Below the image it says Indians are major H-1B beneficiaries. For the fiscal ended September 23, they accounted for 68,825 or 58% of initial employment visas and 2.1 lakh, 79% of extensions, far outpacing China, second largest source, with significantly lower allotments. Very interesting numbers. Okay. And below that, you have various news coming in from Israel, Japan, and Russia. Right. We move on to the sports page. The pieces fall in place. So there is an update on the ongoing cricket test matches between India and England. It says Bumrah is certain for the Manchester test. Kamboj primed for debut as injury issues force team management's hand. And of course, a lot of data in tables below that. So whenever I see a data like that, I'm always thinking of a data interpretation set which can be created using those numbers. We of course have an update on the FIDE, which is the international body for chess, allotting Chess World Cup to India. And as we have already seen, either Ahmedabad or Goa may be chosen as the final venue. In freestyle chess, we have Arjun finishing 6th and Prag on the 7th position. Great. Okay. Interesting news there. Definitely to be read for both cricket and chess fans. And on the final page, half of which is for sports, half for the nation. In the sports half, we have something, Tiger comparisons a bit silly. So something related to golf, something related to football. Cool. And in the Times Nation page, we have a complaint by Rahul Gandhi where he says, I'm leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha but never allowed to speak. If a member of government speaks, opposition must also get a chance. Okay, let's just read the first paragraph and see what it is about. Congress's Rahul Gandhi on Monday alleged that he is not allowed to speak in Lok Sabha despite being the leader of the opposition, even as government representatives make statements freely. He was referring to the fracas that broke out after Defense Minister Rajnath Singh's statement in the wake of opposition's demonstration demanding a discussion on the Pahalgam terror attack. Okay. And of course, a statement by Kharge, who's a Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who says Trump's mediation claim humiliating. Calling US President Donald Trump's claim that he facilitated India-Pakistan ceasefire humiliating, the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge sought a clarification on the issue. Okay. And below we have the last CPM founder bows out. V.S. Achyutanandan dies at 101. Oh. Okay, so former CM V.S. Achyutanandan, who was a firebrand Marxist and the CPM's founding member, died at the age of 101 in a private hospital. Okay, that's a sad news. Okay, an interesting update related to the upcoming Bihar elections. It says Bihar is the first state with a cap of 1,200 electors per polling station. And of course, Election Commission saying the Aadhaar, voter ID and ration cards cannot be relied for the SIR, which would be the special intensive revision of the of the electoral rolls. So that is the roundup for most of the news today. The biggest focus, of course, being on the Bombay High Court verdict on the 11/7 Mumbai train blast case, where all the 12 have been acquitted. And of course, the claims that, of course, this case will be taken forward to the Supreme Court. The second big news is the resignation of Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, and all eyes will be on who will be the next Vice President. And a little bit of sunshine is India hosting the World Chess Federation for the Opens. Okay, for the WC Opens, that shouldn't be the SC. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's roundup of news. A lot of important news articles to be read. If you have liked this specific edition, then please do press the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. I would love to read your comments if you leave them below these videos. This is Sathya signing off for today. Wish you all the very best and have a good day.